You're watching Talking Points, a focus on the political scene in Lubbock and across the South Plains.
You know, our company has started a new national newscast that runs every night in prime time on WGN America. It's called News Nation, and it skips all the so-called experts arguing and unloading a bunch of opinions on you. It's been impressive enough so far to get our Joe Donnellan an interview with President Trump. So we'll want to show you some of that for 5 good minutes and more.
Let's get to the election. We're just weeks away. What is your strategy? What do you think is the key to you winning a second time?
Well, number one, I think I have to convince people that Joe Biden, you know, he's not fit for the position. He's not fit. He can't handle this position. He couldn't do it in prime time, let alone now. And, you know, we're dealing in a very, very complex world. We have a very incredible group of very smart people that you're dealing against. It's competition, but it's also other countries. And he's not fit to handle this to be president.
You're back to holding rallies again despite the pushback during this COVID era. What do you enjoy about those gatherings and campaigning so much?
Well, there's no pushback when we do the rallies at airports because it's outside. And I have not heard much pushback, if any. I mean, they're unhappy that we're doing them because, you know, I'm getting 30 and 40,000 people. So they're unhappy about that. But I haven't heard the pushback. I did hear the pushback when we go into a confined arena and you fill that arena. But I almost like the airports better because you can get more people, for one thing, and they're outside.
Are you worried at all about your supporters being exposed to COVID?
No, because my supporters are very smart, and they do. A lot of them wear masks, and some don't. That's their choice. But they're, you know, when you're outside, you have a lot of room. And everything that I've read and everything that I've seen is outside is better in terms of COVID, or as I call it, the China virus, right? But COVID. And no, I think we have a very safe environment.
I want to ask you a question Walter Cronkite asked Richard Nixon and John F. Kennedy before their first debate in 1960. What single quality is the most important that you bring to the White House?
Well, I think I bring an aura that people know. I know what I'm doing. I know what is happening. I know where we should be going. I negotiate properly so that we don't get ripped off by all of these countries all over the world that have been ripping us off. I understand the military. I've rebuilt the military. I understand the cost of doing it, how to do it for the right cost. I think I understand things as a businessman that other people don't, but just as a person, I understand things. So, and I can tell you this, it's the opposite with Joe Biden. He has a lot of experience, but it's been bad experience. And he hasn't been able to do it. I've done more in 47 months than he's done in 47 years. He will never be able to do this job.
Let's talk about the pandemic. It's obviously changed everyone's lives. I want to ask you, you've talked about we've done all we could. Let me ask this in a different way. Let's say there's a pandemic developing in China 10 years from now, and the U.S. president calls you up and says, what's the first thing I should do? What would you say?
Well, let me start off by saying we have done an incredible job on the pandemic, as you call it. We have done an incredible job. China should have never allowed it to happen. They should have kept it. They could have kept it confined, as they did for the rest of China. But they let it escape to the world, and it's a terrible thing that they did. But what I would do would be not much different than what we've been doing. We closed up our country. We closed it up strong. We banned China. We banned Europe. We did a lot of things, and we did them early. Now, they say if you would have done it 2 weeks earlier. No, but when I closed up this country, and when I did the bans, everybody said, "Oh, you shouldn't do it. It's too early, too early." Now they say, "If only you did it a week earlier." We've done an unbelievable job with ventilators, now with vaccines, with everything else. The only thing I've done poorly is the public relations, but that's because I have a fake press. The press is fake. They don't write the truth. And we have done an incredible job, considering the fact that this is a terrible situation.
So would you say then earlier, close the borders, button it up until we get this thing figured out?
Yeah, but that was never even given as an option earlier. Nobody thought of it earlier. Nobody thought we had a problem. If you look at early, people weren't thinking we had a problem. Dr. Fauci, a month and a half later, thought there was no problem. And I say that not out of disrespect. I say it out of respect. Others said the same thing. They never thought there was going to be this kind of a problem. They never understood the disease. They never understood where it comes. They didn't know it affected old people with ailments as opposed to young people that are not, you know, they do very well, relatively speaking. I mean, they do incredibly well. So they didn't understand the disease. No, I closed it up early. I closed up the country. Now, if we didn't do that, you'd have 2.5 or 3 million people dead, not 200,000. We shouldn't have one person, because China should have taken care of it.
One of the frustrations people have is the mixed message that we're hearing from the microphones here. Mask, no mask, open, don't open, school, no school. The CDC released some new guidelines yesterday and then pulled them back. Why isn't there a more unified message that everyone can rally around?
Well, the CDC is people that have been there for a long time, long before me. And I also don't like the fact that they send out mixed messages. They put stuff in, they put it out. You know, I don't know. They've been there a long time. The CDC comes out with all different messages. Now, I'll give you an example. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask. You know, at one point they were saying don't wear a mask. Dr. Fauci said don't wear a mask. Everybody was talking about like masks were a bad thing. Then they come like masks are the greatest thing you can do. You know, you get all these different messages. And I guess I'm somewhere in the middle, to be honest with you. We had a case the other day where a waiter comes over and he's playing with the mask. He's playing with his mask all over the place. And then he's serving food, and I'm saying, oh, that's nice. That's nice. It's, you know, there is a mixed message there. But if you remember, the original message was don't wear masks. Then all of a sudden they say wear masks. But I have been all for masks. I'm okay with masks. In fact, I wear them under certain circumstances. I wear them.
Theodore Roosevelt said it isn't how long you're president that counts, it's what you accomplish. What would you say is your single biggest accomplishment in your first term?
Well, first of all, I think we've accomplished more than any other administration in the history of our country in the first 3.5 years. Nobody's done. If you look at a list of accomplishments from the military to the vets to the biggest tax cuts in history, biggest regulation cuts in history, whether it was 8 or 4, or in one case more than 8 years, nobody has done what we've done in 3.5 years. But if you'd ask me what's my biggest accomplishment, I think the rebuilding of the military is a very big accomplishment. I think taking care of our vets is a very big accomplishment. And I think the largest regulation cuts in the history of our country is because that really gave us the foundation. This is why we're coming back so fast. We're coming back because we had such a great foundation. You know, we're coming back faster than any country anywhere in the world. Mm-hmm. And the reason is because we have such a great foundation. But you know, if you were going to ask me, well, look at the Supreme Court. I will have 3 justices. Many presidents go without any nominations. I will have 3 in my first term. Maybe almost as important as that, I'm going to have 300 federal judges appointed in my first term, approximately. And that's unheard of. You know, it's a record.
Are you going to win on November 3rd?
Based on our achievements, I should. Based on the enthusiasm, I should. Based on the massive crowds that we're getting, I should. I've had one of the most successful administrations in history, because people that were there for 8 years have not done anywhere near what I've been able to do in 4 years. But the reason I want to do it for 8 is we've got to strongly keep this going. It's got it's sort of like a tree. You put it in, it sort of doesn't do too well. All of a sudden, it starts grabbing hold. Because what we've done with the tax cuts and regulation cuts, all the things we've done, the military, there's more to come. And it's important that it does come. But I will say this, we've done more, I've done more, the administration has done more in 4 years than I would say most people have done in 8 years, almost all, but almost all presidents have done in 8 years. But I do think we're going to win. I think we might win in a very big way. Let's see what happens.